Let's start today in a nice little thoracic stretch. So if you have a blanket or you can grab one, if you're watching on YouTube, you can just pause and kind of go a little skinnier. If you don't have a blanket with you, you could always roll up your mat and use that. So you're going to kind of gauge this. The fatter the roll up, the more intense the stretch is going to be. So if you know that you're carrying a lot of tension in your shoulders and neck and in the thoracic spine right now, which most of us are because it's that time of year and it's been a crazy year, go a little thinner and you can always readjust. So as you lay back, you're going to take this, the roll up the long way towards your mat. You're going to lay down and you kind of want to have this roll up hit like the bottom of your shoulder blades, bra strap. So you're going to actually have shoulder blades on the far end resting down into the mat. So you're just getting this nice little curve, little supported curve in the upper spine. And again, just kind of check this out. Notice how it feels. If it's too intense, make your roll up smaller. If you need a little more, you could fatten the roll up. And if you feel good here, you can stay here. And a couple of options with your legs. So if there's any sensation in your lower back, walk your feet as wide as your mat and allow your knees to knock in towards each other. If it feels okay to extend legs to straight, so kind of a shavasana shape here, you are welcome to do that. If you start here and if at any point it starts to feel too intense, just bend your knees. And then we're going to be here for a few moments and we're just going to try to relax our body over this roll up, and it can take a little bit of time. So we're going to incorporate the breath to help us do that. So first and foremost, take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Couple more times like that. So inhale, fill up, feel that expansion of your rib cage. And then as you exhale, you feel everything contract in. But also maybe just put your to-do list on that. At that exhale, put the things that are stressing you out right now, let them go. And they're still going to be there when we're done with yoga, unfortunately. If only we could magically make them disappear. However, we are going to give ourselves a break from everything. We're going to take some time to check in, to slow down, to pay attention. And when we do this, we're actually better able to tackle our to-do list, to deal with all of the things that we need to get done, to sort of absorb some of the worry that is in the world, to get a handle on it, some perspective on it. So begin to find your jayi breath. So inhaling through your nose, creating a soft rush of air in the back of your throat. And then also exhaling through your nose, creating that same soft rush of air. It sounds like Darth Vader or ocean waves rolling in and out. The length of the inhale, the length of the exhale are really nice and steady. It can be helpful starting out to count the breath so you can find that. And then put your brain in that spot where you're laying down on that bolster. Can you just feel your bones get really heavy, melt down, and maybe your shoulder blades start to get a little heavier in the mat underneath you. Notice if you are kind of tensing the shoulders up around your ears, soften there. Notice if there's any tension around your eyes, your jaw, your face. So feeling pretty easy here. And I'm going to just be quiet for a couple moments now. You listen to your breath. When your attention wanders, you come back to your breath. Good. Take a deeper inhale here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. Stretch your arms up overhead. Maybe extend your legs to straight if they're not. Point through your toes. So feel this stretch through the front side of your body. And then bend your knees. Roll to the right. And just pause there a moment. You can keep laying on that roll up that you have. And then just press into your left hand. Come on up to seated position. So finding Sukhasana, just crossing one shin in front of the other. And then here too, notice if you're tighter, if it's hard to sit tall, just sit up on a blanket. Give yourself a little lift to make the pose a little easier. Kind of want to be sitting with knees out directly from hip bones. They might be a little wider, that's okay. And then let's just start to rock around in our pelvic girdle. So just making some big circles here. And you can let the neck get involved. You can kind of dip the shoulders here. So there's no right way to do this. We're just finding a little movement. It can be big circles, small circles. You might get some clicks and cracks. Good, and then we start to switch directions. Good, come back upright. So sitting nice and tall, let's recross with the left shin in front. So that same thing. Make any little adjustments that you need to. This side might feel tighter in your body. Maybe you do need to sit up on a bolster on this side. And then let's just flow a little bit here, a little lateral side to side stretching. So root down into that right palm. As you inhale, left arm comes up and over. Exhale, root down into left palm. Inhale, right arm comes up and over. So just a little side to side, a little vinyasa here. Exhale, press down. Inhale, come up. And I want you to continue like this with your pace. You don't necessarily need to be moving with me. Just check in with your breath. You could even close your eyes here as you do this. Sometimes that feels really nice. It also helps to quiet the mind. So when we look around, we start to attach to things. We start to think about things. We start to judge a little bit. So sometimes closing the eyes can be a nice little tool. And if it feels better to have your eyes open, just keep your gaze soft and gentle. It's almost a little fuzzy. So you're not exactly latching on to anything. Good, couple more to each side. Just starting to warm up the side body here. And we're gonna hold on our next one. So the next time that right palm is pressing down, take that left arm up and over. And you can walk that right arm out as far as feels good. Some of us might come down onto the forearm. If you do that and this left sit bone pops up a lot, just back out a little bit. And then you can spin the pinky side of your left hand down towards the mat. So you're getting some internal rotation in that upper arm. If it feels okay, perhaps you start to look up underneath the arm. Really nice. And breath is still smooth and steady. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Always coming back to that sound. We lose it. It's hard to do for 2 minutes, let alone 60 minutes. Okay, so as you exhale, release the left hand down, root there. And then as you inhale, right arm comes up and over. So you're getting this nice lateral stretch to that right side of your body. You're anchoring down into that right sit bone. You're spinning your left ribs up towards the ceiling. And then it's like you're gonna spin the eye of your right elbow, that palm to face behind you. Any amount. And then notice if your shoulder crept up around your ears, it's kind of going in that direction naturally, but release down. So feel those shoulder blades coming together, the center of your back. Couple more good breaths here. You might be looking up underneath that top arm if it feels okay to do so in your neck. Deep inhale. And then as you exhale, release. Go ahead and flip on to hands and knees. So finding your tabletop position, setting up for a little cat-cow stretch here. So just peek to see that shoulders are over your wrists, that you have knees underneath your hips. It's going to give you nice space to start to forward fold and back bend. As you inhale, arch into the lumbar, chest comes forward through the gates of your shoulders. As you exhale, press the mat away, move in the opposite direction, let the back of your neck lengthen. Inhaling, arching. Exhaling, rounding in. And again, eyes might be closed here. You're listening to sort of your internal metronome today. So you're finding that pace with the breath that feels good. So you're not too fast. You're not too slow. You're just right. And you're going to know that you're in that sweet spot because it's going to feel really good. You're going to feel calm and steady. A few more rounds of this, so just gently opening up the spine, warming it up. This is always a good one to do, like first thing in the morning. This is something you could do even if you need a little break from being at your computer. And you could certainly do this seated. You don't necessarily have to get down to all fours. As you inhale, come back to your neutral spine. Keep your gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips. As we inhale, we're going to lift our right leg up. That hip wants to open up. Release it down. Feel outer hip squeezing in. So your right toes are pointing down towards the mat too. Root down into that right palm. Keep your gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips. Start to stretch that left arm forward. It's like you're going to reach out and shake somebody's hand. Notice if you lost the hips in the lower belly. So outer hips squeeze in, lower belly pulls in and up. And these asymmetric stretches are really healthy for the spine. This looks great. One more deep inhale, see if you can get like a micromillimeter longer. And then as you exhale, release right knee, left hand down. And then just find your setup again. Make any little adjustments that you need to. So nice neutral spine, outer hip squeezing, belly pulling in. With those actions, as you inhale, start to lift your left leg up off the mat. And you don't need to lift it higher than your hips. So heel is in line with the hips, toes are pointing down. And then really root down into that left palm. Keep your gaze slightly ahead of your fingertips. That's going to help with the balance. And then you start to lift your right arm up. Again, maybe kind of release that right shoulder blade down your back. Pull your belly button towards those back ribs. Make sure that that lifted leg is really active and engaged. You can feel that inner thigh spiral up towards the ceiling. If I were to touch the hamstring of that left thigh, that muscle would be contracting. So there is some effort here. Deep inhale. Exhale, release down. And let's go ahead and, depending upon where you are on your mat, if you're kind of at the top of your mat, walk your knees back. If you have a little space, you could walk your hands forward. We're going to shift forward here. So shoulders are going to come above wrists, maybe slightly ahead. As we exhale, we're going to pass through that push-up position, modified push-up, and we're going to land on our belly. And then from here, again, you might need a little more space. We're going to reach our arms forward, and we're going to do a little more of that asymmetrical stretching, which is really nice. So you can rest on your forehead. Palms are stretching forward. They're facing towards each other. As you inhale, you're going to lift right leg, left arm, head and chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg, right arm, head and chest. Exhale, lower down. Inner thighs continue to spiral up towards the ceiling. Right leg, left arm on your inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, lower down. And then you're just going to continue like this. Again, at your pace. Finding this idea of vinyasa. That happens anytime we start to connect movement with breath. And it's kind of this gentle way of warming the body up, as opposed to just coming into those long holds. They're both good things to do. We want a little of both. And this is really nice too, because we're getting this tractioning in the spine. Let's do a couple more to each side, and then we'll hold here. Good. So the next time your right leg, left arm are lifted, stay there. And then again, release that left shoulder blade down your back a little bit. And then maybe you need to drop your chin a bit. So you don't need to throw the neck back here. Instead, think of the neck just being nice and long. Exhale, release. Inhale, left leg, right arm. So imagine that somebody's gently pulling forward on your wrist, pulling back on your ankle. You're rolling a little bit to the outer edge. Actually, you're doing that in both feet, even that leg that's lifted. So again, we want those inner thighs to spiral up, and you're going to feel your glutes working a little bit here as well. So again, you can find that action of hips squeezing in towards each other. One more deep inhale. Exhale, release down. And then let's come back onto our forehead. So if it's available to you, you're going to interlace your fingers at the small of your back. If you're a little hyper flexible in your joints, if you're a little loose there, I want you to keep a bend in your elbows. If this isn't happening because of bulk in the shoulders or you're really tight there, you're just going to reach your arms by your side, palms facing in towards each other. You could also be holding onto a strap here if you have a strap. So a strap in each hand. But just getting into the shoulders, the neck a little bit. As you inhale, keep rooting down into your feet. Head, chest, lift. And then you're dragging your knuckles towards your heels any amount. That might be more of a thought, and that's fine. Good, and then you keep breathing here. With each inhale, find a little more lift, a little more lightness. This looks great, Anne. And then as you exhale, go ahead and lower down. And so you have your fingers interlaced at the small of your back. Maybe, you might not be there. If you are there, I just want you to shift everything over one. So palms are still facing towards each other. Just move over one. And believe it or not, it's going to feel a little different. And if you're just reaching by your side or you have your strap, you're going to do the same stretch again. So anchor down onto your feet. As you inhale, chest extends forward and up. And again, if you are a little more flexible, especially in the joints, a little micro bend in your elbows. I have to do that. And I actually find that when I do that, I get a better stretch in my shoulders and my neck. So it feels a little counterintuitive. We kind of just want to dump into the joints there. We actually want to protect those. We want to be doing this when we're like 90, 100. All right. So if you'd like to lift your feet here, so if you go there and it introduces grip into your lower back that doesn't feel good, place them back down. You could also play with squeezing out our hips, glutes a little more too, and see if that releases some of the sensation. When we're deep inhale, see if you can lift everything just like a micromillimeter more. Beautiful. And then as you exhale, release down, make a pillow with your hands, turn your cheek to one side. And you can waggle your hips back and forth a little bit, so just find a little release there. Turn your cheek to the other side. And then bringing your fingertips underneath your shoulder heads. So spreading a little bit, pressing evenly. The elbows like to wing out, and you can do that, in fact, and just notice how when you do, your shoulders dip forward. So we want the shoulder heads to lift. So observe how that happens as you start to squeeze your elbows in towards each other. All right, so as we inhale, same work in our feet that we've been doing throughout with those Shalabhasana serpent poses, and then your head and chest lift. So you're not pressing down into the mat, you're not using the force of your arms to find this back bend. You're generating it in these back muscles. A couple more breaths here. So getting a lot of length. And again, your chin is kind of just parallel to the floor. Sometimes we can throw the neck back. You don't need to do that. Feel your shoulder blades squeezing in towards each other in the center of your back. And then from here, let's just press to that tabletop. Curl your toes under, keep a bend in your knees. And then start to make your way back into your first downward facing dog. So kind of up high on the toes. As you do that, you'll find that you can direct your sit bones up towards the ceiling a little more. And then go ahead and drop your right heel down towards the mat any amount. And that leg need not come entirely to straight. As you move in this direction, you're going to feel a great stretch in the back of your leg. Back up to right tippy toes as you exhale. Release that left heel back any amount. Good. Back up to both tippy toes. And then nice and slow, you can keep a bend in the knees. Start to drop the heels back. And again, just as with the elbows, and you might be doing a little micro bend in your elbows here, same goes for your knees. If you're a little more hyper flexible, just a little micro bend to protect those joints. And then find that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath. If you've lost it at all, make sure that you're not gripping the neck. So sometimes we hold it, we start to gaze forward, especially when we're watching a video. So let it go, just listen instead. Really nice. I'm going to give a shout out to Tina in Pennsylvania, who's going to be watching this YouTube video at some point, who always says, I always feel like Jana's talking to me when she comes to the front of the mat. All right, so start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. I'm watching you, Tina. All right, so from here, let's do a little of our standing cobra. So check to see that your feet are hips distance apart. Second and third toe are pointing forward. So the edges of your feet are probably going to be parallel with the edges of your mat, wherever you're at. As you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Your fingertips could be on the floor here. Most of us are a little tighter, so it's going to be nicer to have hands on shins or thighs or even blocks. As you exhale, fold in. Couple more like this. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Good, exhale, fold in. Press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Good, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let's get into the shoulders, the neck a little more here. So you're gonna take your right arm in front. You're gonna hold with your left hand, or you're gonna hook with your elbow. Both are really good. Wherever you're at, you're just gently pressing that right arm in. And again, let the shoulder blades release down the back, so the ears like to creep, or not the ears, the shoulders like to creep up towards the ears. Release them down. This is a pretty simple benign stretch, but you should be feeling a good little pull across that tricep. Nice. Keep breathing. Notice if you started to grip your toes at all. So maybe lift them up, spread them. Instead, feel like you're pressing into the four corners of your feet. So the mound of the big toe, mound of the little toe, inner heel and outer heel. And then let's just play with this. So you're going to be really mindful. If you slept wonky or if you've got neck stuff going on, this might not happen. But just moving nice and slow. Start to move towards bringing your gaze out over that right shoulder. You might not get all the way there. So in this configuration with the arm like this, it's a little harder. So you might just kind of make it out to 45 degrees. And you can keep your chin slightly tucked if that feels a little easier. Good. As you inhale, come back to center with your neck. Exhale, release. And then we're going to first let's just give the arms a little shake out. Kind of might feel the blood coming back. And then we're going to come to that second side. So left arm crosses in front, hooking with your elbow. You can hold with your hand. Wherever you're at, you're just gently pressing that upper arm in towards your chest any amount. And don't think that it needs to look like what I'm doing. Guys, especially are bulkier in the shoulders. You might just be out here. That's okay. You're doing the pose. Release your shoulder blades down your back. Check in with your feet. Make sure that you're not gripping your toes. And then check in with your breath again. Do you still have that inhale through your nose? That exhale through your nose? So I think it's the breath, the attention to breath, that is one of the really unique aspects about yoga. And do you think that this attention to the breath has this nice calming quality even though we're working really hard? All right, so again, Go easy. This side might be a lot different, but you can move towards bringing your gaze out over that left shoulder. And that's going to stretch into the neck a little bit. You pause at the place where it feels like, this is enough. So we live in this culture where more is more. We always want to go for it. We want to be really good students. I think less is more, especially when it comes to sensation in our body. We always want to be really mindful about what's going on. Is that a good stretch, or am I pushing too hard? Am I moving towards injury? Good. As you inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release, and then just give everything a little shake out. You can even shake out the knees a little bit. Before we start to float, let's stretch out the fingers and the wrists. So you're gonna reach your right hand forward, and then just one finger at a time, gently start to pull back, and you don't need to overdo it. This is usually fairly intense. This is a great little stretch to do at your desk a couple times a day. Just give yourself a little break. And you're gonna feel it in the fingers. I feel it in the forearm quite a bit as well. Are you breathing? And then making your way to the other side. As you're ready, there is absolutely no rush. Good, and then just releasing your arms by your side, so you're at the back of your mat here. So nice, even stance, just taking a couple breaths here, feeling the breath move through the spine, through the sides of the waist. And we start to move into some half sun salutes. So as you inhale, you can reach arms out and up. You can reach forward and up if that feels better in the shoulder girdles or if space dictates that. As you exhale, you can dive down the center or take arms out wide. So both are really good. In fact, we'll just play with both versions. As you inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. So reach arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So this time, let's reach up, reach forward and up. So inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, palms press. They come down to heart center, and then you fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold, and we're gonna stretch our arms forward again. So press into your feet, find lots of length. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, stretch out and up. Exhale, swan dive in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, reverse, swan dive up. And then as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So we're gonna do two more. You can do one of each of those. If you have a favorite that feels good in your body, do two of those. So you can't do this wrong, but just move with your breath. If you're newer to this, you can just follow along with me. Eyes might be closed here. And that just helps you to get inside your body, inside each of these poses. And start to make little adjustments. Good, and then you're just pausing in your mountain pose when you're done with that second round. Taking a couple of breaths, making any little adjustments that you need to, and also noticing how you're feeling. So just a little bit of movement, we start to feel a little bit of heat in our body. I always smile. I can't help myself in sun salutes. That might not be you. but I don't know, they feel pretty good. So let's release our arms by our side, and then just do make sure that your feet are hips distance apart. As we inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, nice and slow. Start to walk forward, your hands forward into your downward dog. So just approaching it a little different. Let your neck release so your ears line up with your biceps. Feel your inner arm wrap towards your outer arm, and press evenly into all 10 knuckles in your hand. Good, and then as we inhale, let's shift forward into our plank pose. Exhale, come to knees and lower to halfway hover, then onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Good, take a few breaths here. Let the back of the neck go. Stretch those sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Root down to rise up again. Reaching out, reaching forward, whatever feels good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, stretch up. Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana, extended mountain. Exhale, fold in Uttanasana, so deep forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Ardha means half, so half forward fold. Again, look forward. See if you can lead with the opposite hand, so the hand that feels funny. Walk out to your downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Notice how your downward dog is already starting to shift. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose. Squeeze the outer hips, press the heels back. Exhale, come to your knees, elbows bend an inch, 2, no more than elbows in line with halfway, pause, and then exhale the rest of the air out as you come onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And again, just lead with that hand that feels funny as you start to walk back into your Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen into your Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back in. Press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. Walk hands forward, downward dog. And then this time as you inhale, you're gonna lift your right leg up, hips stay even. Exhale, step that foot through between your hands and then lower onto your left knee. So I'm gonna flip around here. So we wanna make sure that we have enough space so right knee is over right ankle. And then this is a really fantastic place. If you tend to be a little tighter in your body, especially this left hip flexor, which we're giving a really good stretch, have your hands on some blocks. It just brings the floor a little bit closer. And then we just take a few breaths here, melting in any amount. You might be pretty upright, so blocks are great too, because they have all these different heights. And then let's just start to upright ourselves here. You can bring your hands to that right thigh. Direct your tailbone down. Feel your shoulders stacking over your hips. As you inhale, arms reach up. And then bring your palms to face forward. Make fists with your hands. Really start to firm up the arms. So the fists are going to help you to do that. As you exhale, it's like you're pulling through molasses. Start to bend the elbows. Feel this openness across your heart and chest. It's almost like those elbows are going to squeeze behind you. Inhale, press up. Good. Exhale. Pull down nice and slow. And then inhale up. One more. Exhale, pull down. And let's actually hold this one for a few breaths. Maybe you start to bring your gaze up and then release your neck back if it feels okay. If it feels like you can't breathe, just keep your chin slightly forward. All right, inhale up. Spread fingers, maybe press palms. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat, curl your left toes under, and we're just gonna step back to our downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale there. As you inhale, sigh the breath out. Good. Exhale, sigh the breath out. As you inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step that foot through. Make sure you have enough space and then walk that left foot off to the left so you're not on a tightrope. Maybe finding your blocks here, and then start to melt this right hip down so you're feeling this big stretch on the front of that thigh. This is a really, really intense stretch, so back out a little bit if you need to. And just know too, if you're feeling sensation and you feel pretty upright, you're doing the pose exactly right. So all of these poses look a little different in all of our bodies. I've been doing this for a lot of years, so I've built a little more flexibility. All right, and maybe you're noticing how this side feels different in your body. So this is another thing I love about yoga, is the attention that we pay to what's going on. And as we get better at identifying that, we can start to make little changes. We're gonna start to upright ourselves here. Okay, so again, if you feel like you're on a tightrope, walk your left foot off to the left. Feel your shoulders stack over your hips. As you inhale, arms reach up. Good, and then spin your palms to face forward. Make fists, so really engage the arms. Feel that sternum lift. It's that feeling that we had laying over the blanket at the beginning of class. Inhale up. Exhale. Pull down, and then inhale up. Exhale, pull down. Keep breathing here. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Feel that lift of your sternum. Maybe you start to gaze all the way up. Beautiful. Good work. As you inhale, press up. Release your fists. Maybe press your palms together, perhaps even gaze up. Very nice. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Curl your right toes under. Step back to your downward facing dog. And just take a couple of breaths here. Notice how you're feeling. And then let's find a little bend in our knees. Come to our tippy toes as we inhale. The end of your exhale, step your right foot way forward. Then your left foot forward to meet it. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, folded. Press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right. So feet, hips, distance apart. Just peek down to see that that's happening. As you inhale this time, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana. And let's just turn this into a little flow here. So weight is in your heels, toes are pretty light. Sink in, and then as you exhale, hinge forward, reach your arms back, palms facing in. Inhale back into your chair pose. Exhale, press your legs to straight. Few of these. Inhale up, you're gonna feel those glutes start to burn, your quadriceps, the front of the legs start to burn. Good, inhale back into your chair. Exhale, press your legs to straight. So just building a little heat here. Inhale, knees bend. Exhale, reach back. This is kind of like getting ready for ski season if that's your thing. Inhale, press up. Good. Inhale, knees bend. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, press your legs to straight. Release your arms by your side, palms come together at your heart. Close your eyes, take a few breaths. You might get a little head rush. And just observe the heat that short little sequence created. Kind of enjoy that. It's nice to get warm. Notice how your breath might be moving a little faster. The heart's probably beating a little faster. The mic might be picking up the beat of my heart. Let's see if you can slow it all down. And then blink your eyes open. Release your arms by your side. As you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So keep looking forward. We're just gonna step our left foot way back. And again, make sure you're not on a tightrope so you can walk the right foot off to the right. Keep pressing back through that left heel so you're on those left toes. Inhale, rise up, crescent pose. Good, as you exhale, take your arms out wide. Deep inhale here, keep releasing your tailbone down. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale up. Exhale, twisting to the right. As you inhale, you come back to center. Exhale, twist here. Inhale to center, stretch arms up overhead. As you exhale, palms plant, step your right foot back. So options, you can do a little chaturanga here. I suggest modified, so with knees, we've been doing that all of class. Lower to halfway hover, and then come all the way down. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, press to tabletop, curl toes under. And at this stage of the game, actually at any stage of the game, those chaturanga vinyasas are always optional. Some days we want a little more heat, some days we need less. Sometimes as we progress through our practice, we start to get a little fatigued. So you can always skip those. As you inhale, you're gonna lift your your right leg up. As you exhale, I'm sorry, go back, I did it wrong. Actually, I did left leg. I just lifted my wrong left leg, my actual left leg. Here we go. Inhale, rise up. So your left knee is forward. This is what happens when I mirror sometimes. As you exhale, stretch arms out to the side and have palms facing forward. Deep inhale. Exhale, take that full exhale to twist to the left. Inhale to center. Good, exhale, twisting to the left. Keep the outer hip squeezing in, inhale to center. And then exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Stretch arms up overhead. As we exhale, we're gonna plant our palms, frame that left foot. Step right foot to meet left foot. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Root down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Beautiful work in. Inhaling, arms reach. Good, as you exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward. So this time, plant palms, step your right foot way back. So we're setting up for that crescent pose. So that back leg is really strong. You might have a little bend in it. Inhale, rise up. And then this time, let's go ahead and exhale, bring our palms to heart center. So vigorously press your palms to the heart center. Exhale, hinge forward, start to twist. And then hook that right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Keep pressing palms to heart center. You can always lower onto your back knee in this pose. If you've been practicing a little while and you want to go deeper, you can take your fingertips to the outside of that left foot. You could even just have your right palm underneath your right shoulder, so a little more open twist. So lots of variations on this twist. Notice if you're rolling to the outer edge of your left foot, squeeze to the inner edge of that foot. Beautiful work. This looks gorgeous, Anne. Tina in Pennsylvania, this looks gorgeous. All right, so as you exhale, go ahead and start to unwind. Plant your palms on either side of that left foot. And then options here. So step back to downward facing dog or plank pose. Come to knees lower, halfway pause for a moment, then onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, press the tabletop, curl toes under. Downward dog. All right, so inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. All right, make sure you're not on a tight rope, so walk right foot to the right if you need to. Strong legs carry you up, crescent pose. Exhale, palms to heart center. Good, take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale, hinge and twist. Seeing if you can hook that left elbow to the outside of that right thigh. And as you get that, you get a little leverage and you can start to press palms towards heart center a little more. Firm up that left leg or lower the knee down if that's a good modification for you. Maybe split your arms. Maybe plant that left hand on the floor underneath your left shoulder. Wherever you're at, you're pressing to the inner edge of that right foot. You're squeezing right hip in. Gaze might be down, it might be forward. You might be peeking up at that top thumb or over your shoulder if you still have palms pressing together. One more deep inhale. Exhale, unwind. We're going to step our left foot to meet our right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Good. Exhale, fold in. Press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Beautiful. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So feet come to hips distance apart. If you do have a block and you want to, we're going to do a little twisting chair pose. So we're kind of all warmed up for that. If you want to play with your block between your thighs, it can be really nice sometimes. It gives us that feedback of squeezing in so we can keep our hips pretty neutral. So if you want to do that, you're welcome to. If not, just keep your feet hips distance apart and maybe just visualize kind of that feeling. Wouldn't really be visualizing, but like feel it in your body, what it might be like if you were squeezing a block. All right. As we inhale, knees bend, arms reach up. And let's twist to the left this time. So as you exhale, palms come to heart center. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the block. Start to twist to the left. Hinge forward. And then hook that right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. So it's the same thing that we just did in our crescent pose. Leveraging knee and leg against each other. Beautiful. If that right hip is creeping forward, it's okay if it does a little bit, but imagine that there's a wall behind you and you're trying to put both sit bones back into that wall. You are welcome to split the arms again here if that feels good, so you can bring those right fingertips to the outside of your left foot or a block there. And that variation is not necessarily better. They're both doing the same thing. All right, one more deep inhale. Exhale, unwind, straighten your legs, just hinge forward, fold in. So give the legs a little break. Really let the back of the neck lengthen. And then here we go, second side. So as you inhale, knees bend, squeeze the block, arms reach up. As you exhale, palms come to heart center, really actively press them in. Exhale, twist to the right, hinge forward, hook that elbow to the outside of that right thigh. And then as you squeeze the block, imagine just pressing your buns into a wall behind you. So we're moving towards drawing that left hip back a little bit. You might be splitting your arms here. And then you could be gazing down, forward, maybe up at that top thumb or over your right shoulder. What's going on with your breath? All right, as we exhale, we unwind, let the legs straighten, just forward fold here, and you can move the block out if you were using that variation, that little prop. Good, and then just start to bend your knees here. You're gonna come onto your back. And we're gonna come into a nice little hip stretch before we make our way into our Shavasana. So bridge pose setup. Ankles landing underneath your knees. You're gonna take your right ankle and cross it above the left knee. You're gonna flex that right foot to protect the knee joint. And then you can take your right hand into your right thigh, gently press forward, maybe. If you're right here and you're feeling a good stretch in the glute, the outer hip, hey, you don't need to go any further. This is where you stay. If you are a little more flexible, so this is usually true of women, you might be able to bend that left knee into your chest, reach your right hand through that triangle you've made with your legs, interlacing fingers around your shin or your thigh, gently pulling that left top of the leg towards your chest, and then maybe, again, just wedging that right elbow into your right thigh, pressing forward. It's kind of these opposite actions happening. So these are all like little add-ons. They're like little things that you can do if you need a little more. But sometimes we need a little less. This stage of the game, you're really stretching your breath out. You're letting it elongate. The inhale's getting longer. The exhale's getting longer. And you can let go of your JaBoYo breath at this point. If that works for you, though, if you like it, hold on to it. Otherwise, there's not that effort. There's not that sound in the back of your throat. It's a little more natural. Let's do about 4 or 5 more breaths here. Pull in a little more if you can. Back out a little bit if you need to. Good. So if you bent that left knee in, as you exhale, just start to release that foot down to the mat. Uncross your right ankle. And then we take the second side. So left ankle crosses above right knee. Like so. You're going to flex that foot. And that just engages the muscles around the knee. We don't want to have sensation in the knee in this pose. We really want to stretch the hips. Good. And then maybe you take your right hand, press into that left thigh, I'm sorry. So you're just trying to create a little space in the lower waist. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you need to bend that right knee in towards your chest a little bit, and then you can reach your hand through that triangle you've made, either interlacing behind that left thigh or the shin. Pulling in gently. And as you do that, you might be wedging that left elbow into that left thigh. So just creating a little space. And then get curious about this side. Is this your easy side? Is this your harder side? Do you feel pretty even? That's a possibility too. Just noticing and adjusting as you may need to. Maybe also just starting to move towards your Shavasana state of mind here. And everything we've done so far has helped to get us to this point. Well-deserved rest. Good. One more deep inhale here. And then just exhale, release that right foot down. If you hugged the knee in, uncross left ankle. And then let's bend both knees in, coming into happy baby. So you're going to grab the outer edges of your feet. Your arms come to the inside of your legs. That's not in the cards for you. You can simply pull down on the backs of your thighs. So slight little groin stretch here. Lengthening your spine on the mat. Good, and then bring knees together, just release your feet. And then we start to make our way into our Shavasana. So Shavasana might be classic with legs extended. If you wanted to do that thoracic stretch over your blanket again, if you want to end the same way we started, you're welcome to do that. If there's tension in your lower back, bend your knees, take your feet wide, just allow your knees to knock in towards each other. And then a nice deep inhale here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. And then melting and taking rest. Shavasana. Take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, let the breath go, ha. Keep your eyes closed, but just start to bring some gentle movement, some awareness back to your body. Wiggle fingers, toes, stretch out. So anything that feels good here. Staying soft and quiet. You're going to roll to one side or the other and just find that fetal position. We press up to a comfortable seat. So visiting this Sukhasana again, we've been here before. Maybe just observe how the seat feels different. So hopefully there's a greater sense of ease. It feels like you're sitting a little taller. Breath is steadier and smoother. Hopefully the head's feeling a little calmer, more focused. Maybe you're even feeling a little sense of joy and happiness. So soak up all these good things, sensations that you've created. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up and working hard. And just promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this feeling with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Bring palms together at your heart. Bow your head with a smile. Great work today. Thank you.